Mansour, so Allah needs a phone to talk to Moses. Is that correct? Just making sure. Sorry?
God has signs.
God has signs. Okay.
Signs, signatures.
A signs, right? Now, in that bush, is that a sign?
Yes.
Okay. Why in the conception, in the Quran, does Allah tell him to take off his shoes? Because he is in the blessed spot.
Yes. God can make that
because
spot.
we put respect.
God can make any place sacred,
okay,
and pure,
right,
as God wills.
Because
like God has made the place.
Is this random?
A sacred place.
Is this random or purposeful?
Take off our shoes before entering the mosque.
So is it? So brother, listen. Is this like magnificence of the land? Is it random or purposeful?
This is.
It has a purpose behind it.
Brother, random or purposeful? That's all I want to know.
Purposeful.
Okay, purposeful. Great. Now, Mansour thinks that Allah.
You ask so much.
No, because I'm leading somewhere. Mansour thinks that Allah needs a telephone to talk to Moses. Is that correct?
When did he say that?
So effectively, we brought up the point that in the Quran and the Bible, so in the Quran, Surah 20, Surah 27, Surah 28, it talks about Moses talking to Allah in the bush. You have the same story in Exodus 4.
There's a conversation between each
right.
other.
So he's claiming, but he made the analogy. If I call my friends, listen to this analogy. If my friend calls me on the phone, is my friend in the phone? So it's an analogy to say, if Allah spoke to Moses in the bush, is Allah in the bush? My reply is, fine. If I call my friend on the phone, my friend wouldn't tell me to look up. He's there.
You're a Christian.
Right? I am a Christian, right?
I'm a Christian.
No, listen. Let me finish the conversation.
Let's talk.
That's what I was talking about beforehand.
Mansour knows. Mansour
He had the ending of his point. The ending of his point now is that effectively Allah is now using the bush as a phone.
No. Allah can talk directly.
Okay.
Allah spoke with Moses directly.
Awesome. Great. I agree with you. But Master doesn't. All right, anyway, what's the question?
My question is, you're a Christian, right?
I'm a Christian.
Okay. This is Christian logic. That's what you guys believe.
No, logic is logic. Without
believe. Let's put it in this way. You guys believe that God, Almighty, right?
Almighty.
Okay. Sacrifice, in your belief, God sacrificed himself to save, right, humanity from himself because of a rule that he made himself. Is that what you believe?
Not quite. The articulation is bad. It's like me saying that, Islam is about Allah making you deficient so that you can pray to Him while still being deficient, and He can forgive you for sins that He has commanded you to do because of qadr. That's not quite what you guys believe, right? But exactly, right?
Because you guys believe, we're born with sin, right?
Right.
Adam.
But you believe that Allah. But you believe that Allah made you with sin. But He made you with sin, and He will still judge you, even though He made you with sin, and He will judge you in a way where He has already predetermined where you will go. But listen, you mischaracterized our belief, so I'm just showing you that I can do the same for yours, right? So very clearly,
we believe as Muslims.
Yep.
We believe that God is merciful. God is merciful.
Allah isn't merciful.
Allah is merciful.
He isn't. He can't be.
I'm gonna tell you.
A merciful God wouldn't make you to sin, but Allah does. Are you familiar with the idea in the Hadith where Allah said, "Had I created a nation that could not sin, I would wipe them out and replace them with a nation that would sin and ask for forgiveness." So a merciful God will not create you so that you can go against Him. A merciful God will make you perfect for your nature, and also give you the free will to either follow him or not follow him. But Allah isn't confident in that, so he makes you deficient.
No, Allah give you free will, right? Allah give you free
There's
will.
no free will in
At the same
Islam.
time, Allah gives you knowledge, wisdom, prophet, books, sends you guidance. Now you can pick and choose. Either go to hell with your desire as a human.
Apparently you can't choose. Read Sahih Muslim. You can't choose. It's already determined for you.
What do you mean?
So Sahih Muslim, it's a hadith book, I'm sure you're familiar. There's a chapter in it called the Book of Destiny. And if you read that whole chapter, it's just full of hadith. It's full of hadith that basically tell you that basically you have no choice as to where you go. You will simply go where Allah has demanded you to go.
You submit your will to the will of Allah, right? To the will
Right.
of God.
So
if you want to submit your will to the will of God, you don't have to, you shouldn't kill, right? You should be a righteous human being, righteous like believer, that's it.
yeah, so that
This
is
way
the
you can go to heaven. But what you guys believe is, because of what Adam done, now we are born as a sinner. Then Jesus came and took all our sin. Now we become, sinless or like free of sin.
you almost got it right. That's not what we believe.
That's what you believe.
You almost got it right. You were good all the way to the end. So now we are not sinless. Sin is still here, but now we have our hope of salvation or Jannah in Jesus.
How?
So by subscribing to Jesus and following him as our
How are
Rabb,
you going to follow him?
That's how we do it.
His book is full of corruptions.
his
Bible
book
is full of
no.
contradictions.
So you see, you've changed the point now.
No, but the
you are
important thing
asking
is you
about
wanna follow Jesus,
but
right?
listen.
How are you gonna
You
follow
are
him?
asking
Through
about
what?
salvation, right?
yeah.
But for you believe, for example, that your Quran isn't actually effective enough for you to follow your religion just by the Quran. You also need the Sunnah. Now, your entire
I'll
Sunnah
tell you why we
is
need-
corrupted.
I'm going to tell you why we need
Your
Sunnah.
Sunnah is corrupted. The entire thing is corrupted. So, for example, take it like this, right? If you go over, pardon me, one second. Okay, fine. So,
No, it's all right. You know what?
I can explain to you why.
You guys have a book and you rely your salvation on
And
that.
you
Wait, let me
you
talk
hold
now,
your
yeah?
salvation on the Sunnah, not the Quran.
No, the
And the
Sunnah
Sunnah is
is a
completely
teaching
corrupt.
of
It's completely corrupted.
I want to tell you why we need Sunnah. Allah said pray. In the Quran.
And didn't tell you how many times?
No. It's 5 times.
Not in the Quran. In the Quran, it mentions 3 times.
No, 5 times.
But in the Hadith, bring it up, please. I can show you.
I can show you.
It talks to you about praying in the daytime, in the evening, and in the nighttime, but never the number of times. How would you know that you shouldn't pray 10 times in the day, 10 times at night, 10 times in the evening? Because you go to the Sunnah, and the Sunnah is corrupted.
Sunnah is
Because
a teaching.
the problem is,
pray.
yeah, but
Sunnah, you have to clean yourself. You have to wash. You have to recite.
right, but
So Sunnah tell
these
you,
things are crystallized in the Hadith and in the Sirah. The Hadith and the Sirah are corrupted because all listen.
we have weak hadith and we have authentic hadith.
Sure thing, but that came later, right? This is being done hundreds of years after Muhammad died. Muhammad never spoke about a Sahih or a Da'if hadith, right? So
Do you
because
believe Jesus was God or he was Son of God?
he was both, right?
was
Now,
what?
he's both. But
How?
wait a second, I'll explain to you why. But this is the last point on this, right? Because the crystallization of Muhammad's Sunnah in the form of the Hadiths and the form of the Sirah is crystallized and compiled hundreds of years after he died, corruption seeped in a major way in between that time. And that is why your entire Sunnah is corrupt. So everything you do as a Muslim is eventually corrupt. That's why you have 4 madhabs. That's why you have so many imams saying different
It's
things.
corrupted. It's not corrupted because Jesus himself said, do not drink alcohol. You guys do.
Jesus
let me tell you.
never said not to drink alcohol.
I'm telling you.
Bring it out. Bring it out in the Quran or in the Bible.
Did Jesus ever drink alcohol?
Yes,
He did.
yes. But there's a point where he stops.
Did he eat pork?
No, because that is not. But he didn't eat pork or camel. And Muhammad ate camel, so that's bad. So already Muhammad is disobeying Jesus Christ. So that's the problem.
I mean, Jesus Christ was like to us, he was a prophet.
Right, but he was a prophet and also the Son of God and God. What do I mean by that? In his station as the Son of God on earth, right? He came in a form that was lower than the Father. He came to redeem us. So his name, so Jesus in the Hebrew means Yeshua. Yeshua means salvation. So he is literally our salvation. So in the same way that, for example, Allah is your salvation by his mercy, but the problem with his mercy is that it's inconsistent. Jesus is our salvation and he is consistent. So, like I was telling you, in Sahih Muslim, if you want to bring it out and see, you can see it. In Sahih Muslim, there are a number of hadiths. In fact,
Salvation like
let me show you my favorite one. It's the one concerning how you are saved, right? And effectively, what it says, I'll show you in Arabic if you want to see. It basically says that a person will do the deeds of the people of paradise,
Muhammad hijab about this.
and he's
He
wrong.
said He will
Yeah.
do the action of the hellfire, which gonna lead him to the hellfire.
No, that's not what it says. It says that you will do the
Brother,
actions.
you talk that Muhammad
Listen
was
very
watching
carefully.
YouTube. It's on YouTube.
That's fine. No, wait.
wait.
Hear me out. A person.
You're not letting me to talk now.
Let me show it to you. I'll show it to you in a second.
Are you just googling, man? Like googling.
Yes.
It's not accurate.
No, I'm going.
No, you have to go through books.
I am going to go
'Cause
on.
there is so much corruption in
Listen
Google,
carefully. You haven't read anything about
I've
Christianity. All you do is Google things.
Oh no.
Okay.
We know so much.
Where
about-
did you? When you
about
said
Jesus.
when you said that Jesus came to sacrifice himself, did you read that?
So God,
That's your.
Where did you read it, my
That's your
friend?
belief.
Where did you read it?
I don't have to read it anyway.
So you didn't read it?
That's what you
Okay.
read.
just said.
Unlike
What did you
you,
just say?
I read.
You know what
That's
I
the
said
issue.
to him? I said Christian belief, right? Christian belief that God sacrificed himself for himself to save humanity.
And that's not
from
what we believe.
himself because of a rule that he made himself.
That's not what we
but
believe.
That's what Christian belief. That's what Christian-
the idea that God had to sacrifice himself.
That's what they guys
for
believe.
For the sake to erase everyone's sins. That's already telling me, Omar, you don't want to find out. It's already a red flag.
Islam is a red flag.
Himself.
Yes.
Imagine Allah came down and I said,
And
I
then
sacrificed
who's gonna
myself.
rule the
so you
world?
did.
God does.
You made.
Because brother, come back. Let me show you.